All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. How are you? So good to see you. We have some amazing new members here, and I just want to welcome you. I'm so thrilled you're here. And I am going to continue to answer a lot of the amazing questions that you have been submitting through the Orange Theory Fitness member group. You guys had some awesome questions, and I only have so much time to cover things in the live that we did. This is going to be helpful for everybody, and it just helps me to know what you are questioning or things that would be valuable likely for everyone. So I am going to choose a question and try to do one a week and answer that. So as you are joining me, if you are on here live, welcome, welcome. It's so good to see you. I love to connect with you. I want to be a resource that you can trust. And if I don't know, I can't help. So ask your questions. If you need more individual support, I definitely recommend working together one-on-one so I can give you actual tangible feedback for you in your life and what is going to help you. With all things nutrition, it's context. It's about what is the big picture and how you feel in relation to these changes. Remember that there's no magical one thing that is going to solve all your problems, or this one thing that you buy is going to help you achieve weight loss. We have to understand the big picture and what is going to actually solve the root of that problem. So today we're going to dive into caffeine. The question that I received was, is coffee helpful or harmful for weight loss? So I would love to know if this is something that you have questions about specifically with caffeine. Coffee, we're going to talk about in this example. Like anything, like I was saying, it's about context, right? It's not just the coffee. There's so many things that we have to consider. So let's dive deeper in that. If you don't enjoy drinking coffee, it's not helpful to start drinking coffee because you think it's going to help you lose weight. So if these are things that you're not enjoying in your life and you hear somebody say, oh, wine is going to help you lose weight or whatever it is, if you don't like wine, why would you start drinking that? If you don't like caffeine, don't add these things because you think it's the magical solution. There's so many things we have to consider. On the opposite end of that, if you love your morning coffee, which I know most people do, it's part of your routine, it's an experience, you really enjoy this process, amazing. Don't eliminate it from your life because you feel like it's going to be the answer to your problems or help you, the one thing that's going to help you lose the weight this time. It's not just one thing. Coffee does have wonderful antioxidant properties, but if you're over consuming caffeine, there can be negative side effects. So some areas to look at are, how much coffee are you drinking? Are you drinking more than 2 cups in the morning, and why? So it's just about being curious. There's no judgment or guilt around it. It's just looking at, where are you at now? Are you relying on coffee for energy to get through the day? Are you using coffee as an appetite suppressant? So you just have to understand, like, what is really going on with you and why? Why are you choosing to have that? And how can you make adjustments to solve the problem? Meaning, if you're using this for energy, well, why don't you have energy? How can we focus on your sleep patterns, focus on balanced meals, getting enough nutrients for your body, drinking enough water, right? All the basics, the foundational things that actually need to be addressed for you to create long-term change. If you're using this as an appetite suppressant, rather, this is typically going to leave you jittery, low blood sugar, and eventually leads to overeating and very intense cravings. Not helpful, right? This is making you feel awful, and then you're overeating, which also makes you feel awful. So we need to, again, get to the how can we enjoy this as part of our lives and also feel good at the same time? Coffee is a stimulant, right? And yes, initially it can help with alertness and focus, but this is also temporary. And over consuming the caffeine is going to create anxiety and increase your heart rate. You're essentially creating the stress response, that sympathetic nervous response in your body through a stimulant. And if your body is already in this constant state of stress, so your stress bucket is maxed out. And so, meaning your job is super stressful, your personal life is super stressful, and you're doing high intensity workouts, which are a stress on your body, which are very healthy in a reasonable amount of your week. And you're trying to lose weight and eat in a calorie deficit. And you're adding all these extra stimulants just to get through the day because you're not addressing how to create energy naturally in your body. These are all stressors, and your body is not going to perform well. You're going to feel awful, and it's actually creating a negative effect for you at that point. It's going to make weight loss much harder because your body doesn't feel safe. It feels like it's in a constant state of stress, which puts it into survival mode. So it's just trying to do the basics to get you where it needs to be. And it doesn't feel safe releasing extra resources. So releasing fat stores, that's resources your body wants to have because it's like, I need to be constantly pumping out blood sugar to be running from danger. Our body doesn't differentiate danger or stress from a physical danger or an perceived mental danger, right? So say that you're opening this email that's like making you irate or having a really hard conversation with someone. You're not physically doing something that you need to run and use energy from. So that energy is being stored essentially. We can go so much deeper into this. But we're going to, again, come back to the coffee focus. If you're just drinking coffee to suppress your appetite, this is temporary. And like we said, it often leads to low blood sugar or unstable blood sugar, very erratic. And at the end of the day, it often leads to that binge eating, overeating, sugar cravings, really looking for quick, fast energy because your body hasn't gotten that regularly throughout the day. So the best thing to do is just to have you enjoy your coffee, have coffee with your breakfast in the morning if you can. I also understand real life that sometimes that's not always practical or the case with your schedule, which is a huge factor that you have to look at. And, if you're just having one cup of coffee on an empty stomach, you're fine. Like, it's not going to just make you gain weight immediately. It's also not going to make you lose weight immediately. But if you're having a second cup and a third cup and a fourth cup on an empty stomach, this is where it can lead to those negative side effects that we were just mentioning before. What are you adding to your coffee, right? This is another area. So if you're adding all of these syrups and high fat dairy, this is going to add up in calories. So these drinks can be 200, 300, 400, 500, sometimes 600 calories. And honestly, at that point, it's more of a dessert than a coffee. So just looking at, and I'm not saying you can't add anything to your coffee, but look at what you are adding and maybe just see where you're at with this. If this is an area of opportunity for you just to tweak and, add the lower fat dairy, or if you do like sugar in your coffee, maybe instead of 3 pumps of syrup, you're doing 2 pumps, and see if that's something that you can enjoy versus saying, I'm used to having 3 pumps of syrup or sugar in my coffee, and then I'm just going to go to none, right? We don't have to go to those extremes. Just slowly tweak what you're doing in small amounts, and that'll help your body respond. So if you are used to that very sweet flavor, just doing a little bit less can be a great way to adjust and start to make those tweaks for yourself. The next piece is what you're adding. Okay, butter in your coffee. Bulletproof coffee. Why? I'm just curious, why are you adding butter to your coffee? Like, I genuinely want to know what your reason is. Typically, it's just because you've heard this is going to suppress your appetite and help you to eat less throughout the day. Does it? If you feel like that works for you and it's something that you can continue to sustain, amazing. But you're also adding calories to your coffee, right? You're adding fat, right, to your coffee. Personally, I would rather have a nice piece of whole grain bread with some like nice fiber in it, have a little butter on my toast with an egg, 2 eggs. Like, I'd rather eat that amount of food and calories and be sustained by that with my coffee. I'd rather have a meal with those foods together, be satisfied, keep my blood sugar stable, and move on. Just me personally. So it just depends, like, why are you doing this? Are you just doing this as like the magic solution to weight loss where you don't even enjoy it and you're better off just eating that and being satisfied? I'm just here to challenge you and be curious. Also, a lot of these products are very expensive. I know the you can buy like the bulletproof coffee and the liquid or whatever, which is expensive. So I don't know, just my opinion, I guess. All right, the next piece is coffee is a gut stimulant, right? This can help with gut motility and digestion. And if that works for you in the morning, amazing. But if you're having the opposite effect or the extreme effect of having loose stools and it's upsetting your stomach, you're likely drinking too much coffee. Again, or your body's in this like stress response and it's the stimulant is not going to be advantageous for you at that point. For me personally, if I have coffee in the afternoon or like after I have my 2 or 3 cups in the morning, my stomach feels like I have that like gargly sound in my stomach. This is like in the afternoon if I'll have it, which I don't do because it just is not helpful. Notice this, just start to be, again, curious. If you have caffeine coffee specifically in the afternoon, do you notice it upsets your stomach? A lot of times you may be linking the foods that you're having to that feeling, but it may actually be the coffee that makes your stomach not feel good. So I know the purpose of having coffee in the afternoon is twofold: energy and something like warm and cozy, right? That you want to enjoy in the afternoon is typically from my clients why they enjoy it or why. And I totally get that. So what can you do instead? Again, addressing the root cause of why you're having an afternoon slump, because yes, that is common, but it is not normal. And it comes to balancing your blood sugar. What is the meal composition you're having? And what are other things that you can have in the afternoon that give you that cozy comfort feeling? So me personally, what I do instead of having coffee in the afternoon is I'll do a cocoa that I make myself, because tea sometimes I will have if I want something lighter, like an herbal tea that's not caffeinated, or if I want something that has more of that robust flavor or bitterness, I do unsweetened cocoa. So I just buy that and boil some hot water. I do a tablespoon or like a heaping tablespoon of the cocoa, pour hot water, mix it, and then I add some low-fat milk. You could add a little sweetener in there if you want a little sweetness, but that tends to have a similar like robust bitterness flavor, like there's depth to it. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, versus tea, which is a little lighter and not as robust in flavor. So again, it's just, what are you really looking for in that moment? And how can you solve that problem in a different way that's going to support you and how you want to feel? The next piece is timing. So it's really best thing to enjoy your coffee in the morning and to stop drinking caffeine. The recommendation is about 6 hours before bedtime, before you're going to sleep. Caffeine takes a while for your body to fully metabolize. It has a long half-life, so it takes a while. It peaks in effectiveness between 30 and 60 minutes after consuming it. And then from there, your body's still metabolizing it. So the half-life of it continues to stay in your bloodstream in your body after that peak. And so it can affect falling asleep at night or sleep quality. Something to consider. I personally would stop drinking caffeine or coffee after 11 a.m. just to give your body time. Some people are more sensitive and they do take longer to metabolize and they see that side effect. On the opposite end, I know that there's some people that can drink coffee right before bed or after dinner and still sleep. That's usually because you probably have a very high tolerance to it because you're drinking it just constantly and your body just has an increased tolerance. So it's just, again, looking at the big picture, you're not like a super person because you do or don't tolerate it. It's just understanding your body is all it is. Caffeine is also a mild diuretic. So you'll notice that, yes, you're drinking more liquids. So you're having you go to the bathroom, but it's also a mild diuretic, which can affect hydration. So make sure that you're not just drinking coffee, that you're having, especially in the morning, have some water first. Have water before your coffee. I'm not saying to drink a whole water bottle, but just like have a glass of water. It's going to really help with how you feel first. And that is also going to impact energy positively, mental clarity. So that's really important, is to have your water first with hydration. If you are consuming large amounts of coffee and caffeine every day, and you are trying to decrease this, withdrawal symptoms are real. Caffeine is a drug. I'm trying to think of a better word, but you're adding this extra drug to your body, which has side effects. So if you're over consuming that and you want to limit your caffeine, avoid just like stopping altogether because you're going to feel completely awful. Withdrawal symptoms, headache, depression, anxiety, fatigue, and that typically happens with those like 12 to 24 hours after you've had caffeine last. Just go slowly and decrease what you're having currently by a half a cup, then 1 cup. Then, just slowly decrease what you're doing on a regular daily basis if you are trying to cut back. And again, it can also be helpful to limit the times of day to earlier in the day, because it's going to affect sleep and sleep quality. So if you're stimulating your body to wake up in the morning and then you can't fall asleep, you're going to be searching for things that are depressants or downers. Alcohol, for example, right? So then you're leaning on wine at night to fall asleep, right? So you're constantly relying on external variables because you're not giving your body what it needs on the basic level. Again, it's fine to have a glass of wine at night if you enjoy that, but looking at why you're like passing the baton between caffeine and alcohol during the day, which just be aware of. And these things can also add calories also, especially if weight loss is a goal of yours. Another piece that I think is so interesting, this is like the bonus tip here. How do I know when I've had enough coffee without even knowing like how many cups or milligrams of caffeine? You know how the first sip of coffee is so amazing and delicious. The first cup really is just really good. And then you have a second cup and it's good, but it's not as amazing and savory as that first cup. Your taste receptors diminish, especially with high intensity flavors. Like you'll notice this with coffee, wine, sugar, things that have even salt, things that are very high taste. The initial taste is really overwhelming and then it diminishes. This is your body's natural way of telling you that it's had enough, right? You've had the pleasure of that experience, of that food, of that drink, and then it's not as great anymore. So I just challenge you to try this, notice this, pay attention more. That second cup, it's good. And then you're like, okay, I'm good. And then if you have more, it's not even that great. Wine, the same thing, that first glass of wine, it's really delicious. Like you're tasting all the layers. And then the second glass, maybe it's like, okay. And you'll notice it's not as delicious anymore. So this is like the coolest thing to pay attention to, and just notice that natural signal your body is telling you that you've had enough. So just to come full circle, ways to naturally improve your energy are going to be sleep, getting adequate sleep and rest. This means going to bed and waking up at similar times. This is hands down one of the most valuable things to do that most people are not doing. But this is going to help you to fall asleep faster and wake up feeling rested, because your body's in a rhythm, and it's going to improve your sleep quality. Avoid daytime naps, because this is also going to impair falling asleep at night. Drink enough water throughout the day, consistently. Keep your blood sugar stable with adequate balanced meals, high fiber carbs, protein, healthy fats. Include enough fiber in your diet, include micronutrients, so vitamins and minerals that help with B vitamin production that gives your body energy, ATP, which is the energy for your cells in your mitochondria, to go further from a biological perspective. Continue to move your body. It's moving. When you're moving and just walking, you're moving oxygen, your blood circulation. So you're getting oxygen to your brain. You're moving that energy and circulation through your body. It does not just have to be high intensity workouts. Walking, standing up, going to the bathroom that's farther away. These little things are going to help you feel better, versus just saying, okay, I've been at my computer, I'm going to sit on my phone because I need a break. Get up and move. It's going to help with energy and oxygen and circulation through your body. Okay, so that is what I have for you today. I hope that was valuable. It was a lot of information, but one of the things that can be so helpful is just starting to journal. This is what I'll have my clients do in the beginning if they are struggling with coffee or caffeine or energy levels. Where are you at now? What's your baseline? How much caffeine, how much coffee are you drinking? What are you adding to it? How many extra calories is this pairing with it? And is this affecting digestion, energy, mood, hunger levels, food choices, right? What are the effects of this aspect of your diet? It's just about being curious, being aware, and looking at areas of opportunities that you can adjust to help you feel your best. All right, my sweet friends, let me know if you have questions. I'm here for you, and I will see you soon.